moderate the judge panel. A little bit about Sierra Ventures. We're a 32 years old early stage investor focusing IT, especially enterprise in the US side. We're currently leading the $200 million US dollar fund, investing both in US and China as well. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce all the judges today. From my right-hand side, each judge will make a 2-minute self-introduction. So I start with Michael Pachos from Samsung Ventures.
Hi, I'm Michael Pachos from Samsung Ventures. Samsung Ventures is the main venture capital arm of the Samsung Group. We have about $1 billion under management. About 70% of that money goes into strategic investments, and the remaining 30% goes into financial gain investments. Everybody always asks, what's our investment area? It's pretty wide since the Samsung Group has about 70 different companies. So we invest in everything from semicon to shipbuilding. And we also invest in VC funds. So I'm an investor in Sierra Ventures. So he's a great guy.
Thank you. Okay, then we have Edward Tsai from DCM.
Hi, my name is Edward Tsai. I work at DCM. We're a $2 billion venture capital firm, and we make investments across US, China, and Japan. We focus on early stage, and so companies that you might have heard of are companies like Sling Media, which did the Sling Box, and Ustream in the US. In China, we have a number of investments like RenRen, VIP Shop, which was one of 2 China IPOs last year, MyBaobao, as well as 51Job. So love to meet you afterwards.
And we have Wang from Innovation Works.
Yeah, and let me introduce Innovation Works again, and we are $500 million fund on the management. We mainly focus on the early stage investment, but we're gonna for our portfolio company, we're gonna follow up the Series A, Series B, Series C, or even the IPO, and we're gonna double down on our portfolio company if they're doing well. Our main focus area is focus on the mobile, social, enterprise, or any kind of the technology defensible and consumer or enterprise mobile internet company. And we invest both in the mainly our invest is in China, but we also doing some investment in the Silicon Valley. If the company want to expand if there any kind of company wants to expand their market to China, or they want to leverage the China some kind of the advantage like the manufacturing or the hardware design, we're gonna very happy to invest. Even the company is in the Silicon Valley.
Thanks. Then we have Twyla from IBM, SV and Developer Relations.
Hi, I'm Twyla Guyette, and I am an IBMer. What my group does, I have a group across North America that works with our venture capital teams and with startups like you guys. And what we like to do is for people that are, the companies that are building software around our Smarter Planet initiative, we would love to have you join our Global Entrepreneur Program. You can just go out to www.ibm.com/ISV/startup. And from there, you can get a lot of benefits, one of which would be the use of our software for free, including things like WorkLight, which was an acquisition around our mobile strategic initiatives. So hope to see you there, and good luck today.
Thanks, Twyla. Then we have Chris Gill from SVForum.
Just checking myself. Hi, I'm Chris Gill, CEO of SVForum and also a member of Sand Hill Angels. With SVForum, we connect with over 50,000 developers and entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley and support them to inspire them to create new products, new technologies, new companies, even new industries. And we've done all of that. There's one measure of our success with that. Our members have raised over $250 million since 2008. Sand Hill Angels is ranked as one of the most active angel groups in the USA and broadly invests in software, mobile, and medical devices. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. And last but not least, we have Kelly Liu from West Summit.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kelly from West Summit Capital. So we are a growth stage technology fund, and we do the investment in US and in China. So actually, we have worked with Samsung Ventures and Sierra Venture, and even like the DCM, for a couple of deals. And so we are looking forward to work with the innovation works in the near future. Because we do the late stage. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd like to briefly introduce the format of the competition. Each team will do a 5-minute presentation. I will let you know when you have only 30 seconds. And then after the presentation, all the judges were supposed to ask questions. The Q&A session will be 5 minutes. Would be great if we can keep each question short, less than 30 seconds. And the answer would be recommended to be less than 1 minute. And after 6 presentation, we will have a discussion. For each company, we will give 3 different scores, which is based on, one is the potential of investment, second is the value of the company, and the third will be the presentation itself. And by the end of the contest, we will give out 3 awards, which will be best potential of investment, best value of the company, and best presenter. So without further ado, let's welcome the first presenter, Chandra Keyse, the co-founder and CEO of Moodme.
Thank you. Do I get a mic? Yes, sir. Hello, good afternoon. So I'm Chandra, the co-founder of Moodme. So my first question to you is, what's the mood like today?
Good.
Good.
Good mood.
And you can probably see that my mood is pretty excited. I probably need a device to go to the next slide, or how's it going to work? But anyway, I'm very thankful for the organizers. This is such an exciting place. I'm only 6 months in Silicon Valley, and I love it. The sun is there, and it's full of inspiring people. This is Saturday, it's packed, and it's not even the biggest event in the Valley, so thanks a lot for this, and it's a great opportunity. Now, we can share emotions face-to-face, pretty easy. It's written on our face. Yeah, we're going to use some faces, so yeah. Now, how do we do online? That's the issue. That's a problem that we are looking at. You can send a smile, but is that really a smile? Like colon, close parentheses, 30 years old. And your Facebook profile picture and the like, static for the last 5 years. You have mood swings like every week or every day or every hour or every minute in my case. So frankly, there are more engaging ways to communicate online. And we also think that advertising and videos like interactivity, like personalization. So what did we do about that? My co-founders, Massimiliano and Alessandro, are 2 Italian university professors. They teach software engineering, and they are also specialists in facial recognition. I did startups in the US East Coast in the 80s, so it's dating me, obviously. I also did startups in Brazil, in Italy. I've also worked in big companies like Northrop Grumman. So basically, big and small companies. And the team is growing. We have a new CEO from Brazil who lives in the Valley. We have offices now in Silicon Valley and in Europe, and programmers and salespeople. We have investors on board, 7 people, 6 nationalities, working for big companies in middle to top management. Very good to have them on board. Now I would like to show you a small video of what Moodme is, because I think it's a picture is worth 1,000 words, and a video is even worth more. You don't have to dance. So these guys are on contract with us. That's the son of Marco. He's a real star. Yeah. Good for face. Gabriel Bianchi was the one who made you laugh. Thanks a lot, Ed. So going back to Ninja Tuna. Oh, is that me? I like Ninja Tuna. So Moodme was founded two years ago already. So we've been in the garage evolving these technologies, complex stuff. It's an emotional engagement platform. And we have business and consumer products. This week in Vienna, on Tuesday, we won the award of the European Business Angel Network. So it's awesome for us. It's like, wow, a big hit for us. So Moodme, as you saw in the video, but explaining you a little bit better what it does. It's facial recognition, automatic. You don't need to pinpoint the facial features, which is a very big differentiator. And we create 3D models of the face. We animate them with emotions. We have a lot of degrees of freedom. We use 150 points. So I can create a happy or sad mood, but I can also create I need a beer mood, maybe. So we accessorize our living portraits. We can interact through a cloud platform, connected with the social networks, obviously. And we give feedback to our customers. Now, the market where we are navigating, I don't want to bore you with the numbers, but basically, digital goods, 30 billion market. Advertising on the mobile, a gap of 20 billion. And where do we focus? Because we have a global picture, a big dream to change the way people share emotions online. 40 seconds left. Oh, I'm in trouble. So we're focusing on sports, fan engagement apps. We're giving them more emotion than they ever had. So you can become your favorite players. We're looking at 1 million right now to reach a milestone of 15 clubs. We already have 3 clubs. And mainly soccer at the moment.
About 30 more seconds.
Okay. So we have a great pipeline. We have revenue share deals with these clubs. You can also position the product of your sponsor and share in social networks. This is a big dream with a milestone in between. Platform company, develop an ecosystem of developers, 4 million down the road in 1 year from now. The financials, I can share that with you on a later stage. And basically the deal we're offering is we're doing a convertible note, standard Silicon Valley term, like the first one. And we're going to invest mainly on building a great product faster and more awesome ever. 30% also in sales and marketing, of course. Why invest in us? Well, you've seen it. We bring the wow. Thanks a lot. Stay in touch.
Okay.
Don't text me, Moodme.
Okay. So no, thank you for the presentation. And
thanks.
You know, the product looks very interesting and compelling, but maybe something even more compelling that Samsung would be interested in is, can you tell the mood of the person from a picture? So we're doing a lot of things with facial recognition and trying to figure out, is this person happy, sad, and kind of trying to, you know, our investment in Expect Labs is kind of trying to figure out what do people want to do. Yeah. So can you, is there any?
It's a great question. The core technologies are the same, and we are working on that. It's not shipping yet. We're working on that, of course. One thing is to generate the emotion based out of the model. Another thing is to recognize the emotion, the emotional state you are in, and we're working on that. And I think it's the other way of the same, the other side of the same coin. Yeah, great question. In a mood for questions?
Chandra, thank you for your presentation. One question I had, you know, with seeing different kinds of companies with very interesting technology, is the question of, are you going to develop your product into a first-party app, like a game or like a growth app, or are you going to license this to other companies as a platform? And how do you think about that? How do you think about growth?
Very good question. Actually, it's been a center stage of our how to go to the market. We are on the mid horizon, as I shown you. When we become a platform company, we're going to go indirect distribution model. So we're going to license our SDK and open our APIs to an ecosystem of developers. Right now, we want to show the way, and also it's not that everybody's flocking around us to develop on top of our technology, which is just like out of the garage. So right now, we also want to own the customer experience, to prove our concept. And so we are winning directly deals with top football clubs. In Italy, we have one of the most galactic soccer teams. So we are doing the whole project all the way down, but the idea is to make proof points, and in a year from now, we will be letting an ecosystem of developers build on top of our platform.
If I can ask a question down here, can you tell me how many downloads you have so far on this?
Oh
or-
yeah, we have an ugly MVP in the Apple Store. You don't have to download it. So right now, this week we hired a designer. We have made absolutely no marketing. So we have a few hundred downloads. We have put something in the Apple Store just to have that kind of milestone and to prove that the technology works, like the generation of the living portrait in the cloud, and that's cloud generated. But we are not pushing the product at all. We are completely refurbishing it with a new designer on board and a lot of new features. So really our first live customer will be this big Italian soccer team, and it's in 2 months from now. Yeah. Okay.
I think we have 1 more minute. If any audience is interested to raise a question, just feel free to hands up. Okay.
It's under NDA. They want to surprise not just their fans, but all the other fans who are bored by apps full of statistics. So they want to make a big surprise. So I will keep it for summer.
By the way, and I saw lots of the startup also do the facial recognition API, and they develop technology, and they provide, rather than the mood, they also provide the facial recognition for the identity or other API for the developer. So our technology, compared to those kind of the general facial recognition API provider, what kind of the advantage we have?
Well, our technology runs both on mobile and on the web. We generate a model which I think is at the intersection of what is usable. So it's not the high end of the top, gaming like Activision, let's say. It's something that runs fast and sleek on the mobile. So we are right at the intersection, and we have the highest definition of a 3D model. If you compare to the motion portrait or Morpho, who is in San Francisco, we have a much more elaborate 3D model of the human face, and which is automatically generated. You don't need to pinpoint facial features.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Then we have our second company, Mari Tangredi, the co-founder and VP of CloudPrime.
Thank you. Just want everyone to know I'm in a good mood today. I'm the co-founder of CloudPrime, and the tagline is Secure Communications in an Insecure World. And the premise of the company started about 2 years ago. I was at a conference with a bunch of Silicon Valley data center folk, and we were all saying, the cloud, the public cloud, is going to turn enterprise software on its side, but it's going to have to address 2 key components: security, how secure is my data, and the second one, where is my data? So the tracking of that data. So quickly, that's what CloudPrime is solving. Uh-oh, wrong way. Okay, got it. So the company, we're based here in San Francisco. We were born in the cloud, as we like to say, because it's difficult to backwards engineer into a cloud type of offering. So important, our founder, my co-founder, is ex-IBM. So we've got a team of people who know how to sell and how to build products for the enterprise. The category that we're in is messaging as a service. Messaging as a service goes beyond the things that we know of text messaging and email that we all use all the time to application messaging. So things like sharing patient data or bank statements or doing trades online. Those are all application messaging. Our target market is the enterprise with a lead gen offering that I'm going to show you in a little bit that we're selling into the prosumer market. Market size, it's a big market, currently served by enterprise software. Enterprise software that tries to grow kind of runs into roadblocks, and in the cloud, the weaknesses of enterprise software are just being magnified. So we only have a short bit of time. I'm going to go right to the moral of the story. If you don't want critical data out there in the world on the front page of something or being shared with thousands of people that you don't want it shared, why take that chance? So I'm going to tell a little story about how CloudPrime helps you deal with that. It's great to put social media out there, but there's certain elements of your life that you need to protect. The team, it's a cross-section of folks here in the US. I've got a guy in the UK, and one guy who's in Turkey this week, actually. And we've all worked together before. We know how to work together. We work across time zones. So you get kind of the getting to know each other bits out of the way because we all know each other and have worked together before. And on our advisory board, it's been very important that we have input from verticals that we think are going to be important to ensuring privacy. Things like healthcare, so we've got 2 folks from Stanford and from Athena. We've got another individual from Amadeus, which runs one of the largest data centers in the world. And then we have another blogger from the healthcare space. So this chart is very busy, but all it's saying is it's a big market, a growing market. And the other subtle theme that Gartner is saying, which we may be biased, but we believe in, is that at some point all enterprise software will be delivered via cloud infrastructure. It's just more efficient, it's more cost effective, it's more scalable, it's more resilient. So these are the numbers for enterprise software market. A $1 trillion market eventually will move to the cloud, and the portion that we're saying we're in is application integration and messaging. A little bit about the offering. On the right-hand side of the slide, this is the data center offering, IT robust solution. But what you find is data center IT robust solutions like Fidelity also needs to communicate with high net worth individuals on the right side of the screen. So this is a platform on top of a public cloud that encrypts the data before it leaves the data center, keeps it in encrypted state, in transit, at rest, and as it's delivered to the mobile device on the endpoint. Very important for compliance that data is encrypted at rest and in transit, and that you know where the data is at all times. So those are the other elements of the offering. Customers are a great proof point of the need for this in the marketplace. So I'm showing you small, medium, and large along the left-hand side of the slide. And on the right-hand side of the slide, the traction on people who want to secure data coming to their mobile devices. So big problem in the market. Quick demo. So what you see here, easy to use, email type interface, who it's from, the size of the message, how long it took, the level of encryption, top level of encryption, inbox, outbox, status of the message, how long it took. You can see large messages can go very, very quickly. And then how do you get data from other applications? You just use an open-in feature and open it in quick drop, and then you can send it securely. Lots of use cases, go-to-market, lightweight, inside sales model. Use our partners. We've got good partners in IBM, Apple, and Amazon. 3 different tiers of customers, small, medium, large. Builds a really nice pre-IPO business in the next 3 to 5 years. And in closing, a lot of concerns about privacy. And CloudPrime has been built to address them. And sorry, I went a little too long.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
We totally have 10 minutes, so
okay.
you just don't have to ask many questions.
All right. Questions?
One thing we've been seeing is that MDM and a lot of mobile security has been commoditizing, and the ARPUs have been dropping about 20 to 30% per year. That's just one comment, and you can comment on that.
Yep.
The other thing is that, we've seen, how do you differentiate from companies like Zscaler or AirWatch or Volcana?
Yeah. So it's really a little different than MDM. It's for the application that is creating a secure tunnel between me and you, Michael, where I just want to send potentially one document where we do a term sheet together at some point, and I want to make sure it's going to you and only to you. So it's an application that creates that secure tunnel. It's not stored anywhere else. It's just a secure VPN, so there's no Dropbox box-like functionality. It's not about sync and storage and collaboration. It's about point-to-point, peer-to-peer delivery in an encrypted, compliant form. So it's going after a different market, which with government compliance, healthcare compliance, it's only getting worse over time. Yeah. Thank you.
So who's your direct competitors?
We get competition from kind of 3 categories, because when we sell to IT, we're bringing in a solution that addresses the networking components, the application components, and the legacy interface components. Standing too close to you. So our competition comes in a couple different categories, but usually it's people trying to build out their own infrastructures, cobbling together something like a VPN, their own enterprise software that they have to run, 5 or 6 people in IT, and we come in with a service that says you don't need those people in IT, you don't need those VPNs, and we do the integration to the legacy app for you with our technology. So we're seeing competition that way, and we're doing it at 1/10 of the price of traditional methods. But mainly enterprise software is our competition.
Group functions where it seems like there is a lot of usage or collaboration now in Dropbox. Do you see yourself migrating, eventually having a product that can do updates or changes to docs, or do you see it mostly staying with point-to-point?
I see us staying more with point-to-point, but offering kind of a control panel or admin panel that says the document that I sent to you arrived, and I have proof of that, so that I have a little portal interface. Because the big concern always is, where is my data? I think the security of the cloud, that objection has been addressed faster than where is my data. So we provide 2 tools to let you see, and in a graphical way, where is your data at all times? And people like that. Kind of like when you're getting a car built and you can see the stages of the car being built, you can also see where your files are. So it gives people that control without having to run it and have the heartache of running it.
Security with other competitive cloud company security? Real technical metrics.
Probably the most important metric is that we encrypt everything at the file level, whereas a lot of the cloud providers will encrypt things at a disk level or a broader storage level. And the reason they need to do that is because they need to sync that data and dedupe it. So they need to look at it. It needs to be in the clear in some way, shape, or form. Because we don't need the data to store or to look at it, we can keep it encrypted the entire time. So that's probably the key differentiator. The other is the ability to give a PKI certificate in the ease of a software download of an app. So that very fast demo that I showed you, in that process, you're getting assigned a private and a public key. And to me, I've been doing this for a long time. That's the simplest way I've ever seen of getting a key infrastructure delivered to your device. But not at the delivery and tracking and bring them on. Bring them on.
Thanks, Mary.
Okay, thank you. Thanks all.
Then let's welcome Laurence Marks from Blue Kangaroo.
Hi, I'm Laurence Marks from Blue Kangaroo. I'm Chief Revenue Officer. So Blue Kangaroo is a big data for m-commerce company. We were founded by former Yahoo executives, including the Chief Data Officer, former VP of data strategy as well. And we're the team that built the behavioral targeting at Yahoo to $300 million. We were recently recognized by On Media's top 100 private company to watch for 2013. And what do? There's huge opportunity right now in big data with the consumer to really understand what the consumer shopping preferences are that really don't change much over time. If you like Macy's and REI, you're going to like that for months and years. But your buying intent changes multiple times a day, whether you're buying lunch or you're buying a present for your nephew. And your context is changing moment to moment, where you're located, what device you're on, clearly the date, time, season. What can be done now is you can map what we call the shopping GPS coordinates to where you are in the shopping universe at any time. So this shopping GPS data, these coordinates, is marketing gold. So if you know where Susie is, she's at Stanford Mall, and what her preferences are, her buying intent, her context, that's very valuable for retailers. Retailers want to be able to use that for better targeted promotions to deliver the right deal at the right time. In addition, this is extremely valuable for carriers and publishers because with this data, they can generate a higher eCPM lift as well as generating that across all devices. The big problem is, how do you get this data? Everyone has this problem. You need the access and permission to acquire this. The access is obviously to collect the data and to reach the shoppers. In addition, you need the permission to be able to monitor the consumers and to be able to deliver those notifications. The dilemma, though, is that the carriers and marketers do not have this permission. They have access to all this data, but they don't have the permission to do that. That's what Blue Kangaroo comes in to solve. And we do this in what we call a simple value exchange. So the marketers get the three things that they want. They need the consumer shopping preferences, their buying intent, and the opt-in permission to be able to deliver information to them. The publishers and carriers need the engagement and recurring revenue streams. And a consumer gets a free personal shopper to deliver the right offer at the right time where they are. So for marketers, what we have, we've lined up all the deals with the national brands, 95+% of the daily deals, flash sale sites, local deals from Yelp and Restaurant.com, Valpak, loyalty programs, in-store offers, all of this. Basically, we're the only ones that aggregate the whole offers universe. Publishers and carriers, we launched earlier this year with AT&T on Android devices as their default preloaded offers app that's front and center on their browser. We launched 2 weeks ago with Sprint on the Galaxy S4 devices. Verizon we launched in about 6 weeks on their devices with the maintenance release for up to what they've told us 20 million devices. In addition, Skyfire launched us on their devices last month, and Opera just acquired them, and we're going to be expanding with them globally. In addition, in Canada, Canada Post, their e-post service, they paid us a big licensing fee to launch in Canada early, 7 figures. So, and we're just beginning. So our free personal shopper service, which if we have time, I'll show you at the end what it looks like. I have a 1-minute demo. And how does it work? How it works is we're really 2 sides to the business. One is we have a personal shopper side for the consumer, and then we're a big data side. So the personal shopper side is we observe what the consumer is doing. Then we take those shopping preferences, buying intent, and context information, and we model that. We've placed that all within our content aggregation engine to be able to match the right results for the right for the consumer at the right time, and then we pass that back to the consumer to help guide their shopping behavior and learning over time what their needs are. So what are the numbers? We just launched with AT&T back in Q1. We're starting to ramp up with their devices, and the big number here to remember is we're a data company. We're not a coupon company. What we do is we aggregate commercial events on the consumer. So on an average weekly basis, we're collecting 17 fresh, relevant commercial events for each consumer so that we can target the offers and the advertising, any advertising, for them. Our click-through rate is about 8% right now, and based on the numbers that we're getting from the carriers, we've taken a big haircut on their numbers because it's a big number. We expect 13 million devices by the end of the year activated using our app. So how have we rolled this out? AT&T was end of the year, really started rolling out in Q1. We launched with Qualcomm. They gave us their contextual awareness SDK for free this year so that we would roll it in with carriers. And we rolled that out with them at CES front and center in their booth. Launched our iPhone app in February, launched with Skyfire and Opera in March. Sprint launched actually early, which never happens with carriers, so that was good news, and launched 2 weeks ago. And then Verizon July, as well as in Canada. So how we make money in 2 different ways. One is we get a transaction fee that's CPA as well as CPC with the transactions that occur. But that's nice, but the big piece of this, big opportunity, is that we have the data about the consumer that we can then target advertising anywhere on the phone, or if as they sign up for our service in digital media, for buy-in to deliver the display advertising. So where we are right now, we've raised $6 million of seed funding, and we are raising $10 million right now for funding. I don't know, how much time do we have? Are we done? Oh, there we go. That's fine. Thank you. Biggest competition is Amazon and eBay. So those are the only players that we're really concerned about. We're very concerned about them. But because they're a walled garden, this is part of the reason why the carriers have been very interested in us, because it's an open platform for it. But we had to compete head-on with them to win a lot of these deals.
Laurence, congratulations on the carrier deals. So I think this space is interesting because we have a few portfolio companies in the data and consumer space, like Project Slice. One question is, how do you think about when you're in your strategy and when you allocate your resources, putting them on developing a great product for the consumer versus continuing to find people and recruit for people for big data and analytics in the back end?
Yeah, ultimately we're a data company. We need to make sure that the consumer experience is about understanding your interests, understanding what you're looking to do for dinner on Saturday night, and if you want to find deals on that. So the nice thing is it's hand in hand, interlaced with it. Clearly, what we want to be able to do is make sure part of our 10 million is going to be not only global expansion, but making sure that we have the team on the design side, on the UI side, so that it is a great sticky experience for it, that not only is the content, because that's what it is you need the content, but the usability.
Second question is, how do you think about getting in front of the consumer more instead of just sort of on site when someone's at the mall and getting offers, but sort of when they're sitting on the couch? How much work have you guys done there, and what have you seen that's worked?
It's a great question. The good news is we're just starting with that. With actually, the tablets distribution just started with the Note about a week and a half ago, and we're very excited to start looking at data for how we actually perform with it. We have a PC product that is part of the core of what we're doing on the tablet. But what we need to do is understand, start looking at it, and be able to nimbly adapt to what is required for the phone, smartphone versus tablet.
Do you have any metrics measuring how big of improvement you have in terms of recommendation over time when you have those data?
Improvement over time in terms of
because you acquire the data from the user behavior and then you giving a better recommendation over time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of right now it all comes down to the hard metrics of what our CTR is over time in terms of how it's going to ramp up, because you need to be able to understand and gain the trust of the consumer. It's all about really two words for the consumer: instant gratification. Can you deliver that instant gratification to the consumer and increasingly learn and understand and gain their trust to deliver that for them? And we're in the early days of that. We dig into that all the time about how we make sure that we can we're able to improve the results for it.
Thank you.
I'm curious what kind of the data source we're really tracking from the user. Do we have the user's behavior data of the user's Amazon buying behavior, or do we tracking the users, for example, the Facebook, Twitter, or the friends, the feeds, all these kinds of things? I just wondering what kind of the data we are tracking to make this kind of recommendation.
Yeah, the data that we do collect is need the permission to be able to collect any of it, but it is the browsing behavior. If they do searches within our app, not searches on the browser, but it has to be within our app. If they sign in through Facebook, then clearly we would get that as well. Any event data that they're doing within our app, we're tracking. Geolocation data is part of that as well. That's part of our Qualcomm deal that we have for it in terms of being able to collect data for Amazon or otherwise that you had asked. We would collect it if you go to the Amazon site in terms of clicking on, if you're going into shoes within Amazon, we'll be able to see that.
It's in general all the, for example, the carrier side, their router data or the user browser history, you can get all of them, right?
We don't do browser history with it.
I'm not the browser history. I mean any kind of the user kind of the internet connection or mobile internet connection through the carrier, you can check it.
Yeah, what we do is data is really, it's an asset and a liability. We make sure that this is a big lesson we learned from Yahoo, that we only want to collect the minimum amount of data that's relevant for the commercial experience.
Okay.
And so that's what you have to really treat it as and understand that you only want what you need to be able to deliver that instant gratification. Thanks.
Mark, I'm the founder and CEO. And I'm going to start off with a video to kind of give a visual of the technology. And is there someone that he's got started? Okay. Not working? All right, well, that's okay. I have a live demo, so I'll show the live demo when we're here. So the problem that we identified is that there's gaps in between the message and the transaction in a physical environment. The message, a lot of brands and retailers know that they're delivering a message to consumers, but they don't know if they're acting upon that message in a physical environment, and it's turning into a transaction. So we identified this as a $46 billion problem of missing revenue, and that is found by taking 1% lift in the overall retail revenue, gross revenue. And how we solve that problem is we partner with the brands and the retailers who are delivering the messages to the consumers. And our technology allows us to detect when a consumer comes within a physical environment. And at that point, it communicates with our cloud servers that allows us to go back and gain that intelligence and track the analytics and deliver a message to the consumer. There's an IBM study that stated that 72% of people will act upon a message if it's delivered to them in a relevant context or when they're in line of sight of a retailer and can make that decision. So the various use cases that can be done with the technology, if you saw the video, it would explain a little bit more, but it's a proximity awareness technology where we have an SDK on a mobile handset that integrates into mobile applications. And when it comes within proximity of the chip, a Bluetooth chip, it can send a message or alert to the customer. So the various use cases are digital display networks in events, venues, restaurants, and the like. So how Smart Connect works, which is the technology, there's a tag, it's a Bluetooth LE tag that broadcasts out, and we can adjust the distance, whether it's 10 feet up to 700 feet in proximity. And any mobile app that is running on a handset can detect this tag, and that goes out to our cloud servers, which then we can access analytical information or data from ad networks or third-party servers and deliver back a message to the consumer, or modify a digital screen, or pass off to a third party. So for a demo, this is a demo that we have here. It's a SDK on our mobile app. And the application can be running in the background on the handsets of consumers. And it can send an alert by broadcasting the signal. One aspect of our technology is that it can run on multiple mobile applications simultaneously. And the alerts won't bombard the users, as it takes priority based on the settings from the brands on the mobile apps. So brands and retailers can partner with multiple mobile applications to deliver messages to consumers while they're in proximity. So the technology, we have REST APIs and a CMS portal to manage the offers or the alerts. And we have a mobile SDK, and that can be integrated into multiple mobile applications, and we're building a developer network. We're taking a little different strategy than others with our mobile SDK and how we charge or bill for that service, which should give us an advantage to get our SDK on many different applications. And since our SDK can run on multiple mobile applications at one time, we can grow our reach with the technology. The founders are from the wireless, telecom industry, mobile payments industry, and with security backgrounds. We're putting together an advisory board from executives from media and technology companies, as well as social networking companies. We currently have a partnership with Sprint and through their direct and indirect partner channels. And we're integrating with digital display networks that represent over 100,000 digital displays. We have partners with system integrators as well to distribute our technology. And several software companies, large software companies. And we've identified 4 different pilots that we'll be launching this year with major brands. Major brands in the soda industries, as well as retail brands. And our current partners represent over 40 million of immediate opportunities to the Footmarks platform.
Thanks. Preston, I have a question. So on the product side, you have to have your customer install your app to be able to receiving your message and be recognized, right?
Yeah, we have an SDK, so we give this to our brand partners. So our brands or other mobile app developers can include our SDK into their mobile apps, and that would give them the ability to detect the tags when they're relevant. So it's not our application, the Footmarks application, it's the brand's application or their partner's application.
And on the other side, you need the local business owner to have this device installed in their store.
Right. The device itself can be battery operated, or it could be integrated into circuitry, such as kiosks or digital screens. And it could also be placed on the back of cardboard displays, which we're currently in discussions in doing to get into grocery store chains as well.
So my question is, how do you get these devices distributed fast enough? Do you give it for free or?
Yeah, the devices themselves, we're partnering with the brands to get them into the retail environment. And our pricing model is that we charge a service fee on the device itself. And our SDK is free. So we don't charge for the mobile app developers to integrate our SDK for our user fees. It's based off of the device itself.
So on the other side, I'm just wondering, how do you think of the friction of getting developer really using your SDK? Do you have any concrete developers that already been developing apps using your SDK?
Could you repeat that?
Do you have any developers that are already using your SDK?
Yeah, we have 4 different brands that are integrating our SDK for pilots this summer.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
Hi. Could you tell me a little bit more about the business model that you have?
Yeah, the business model is to build a developer network and to allow the retailers and brands to get the proximity devices into the physical environment. So our strategy is to get as many devices out into the retail environment as possible, and then allow mobile developers to build upon that and to enhance the experience to the brands.
That's not explaining how you actually make money. So.
Oh yeah, our revenue model is the brands or the people who own the physical devices are charged a recurring revenue, or a recurring fee on monthly for accessing our platform and delivering the alerts and the offers to the consumers, and the gaining back the analytics that we provide.
Recurring revenue model.
Yes, recurring revenue model.
Okay, have you calculated how's like the cost for the basically the hardware device that you provide to the retailers?
Yeah, the hardware itself, we capture the initial revenue from that device, so we actually make a profit on each device. So the brands and retailers would pay for the initial device and to get it out into the retail stores or the physical locations.
No, my question is that the cost for the.
Yeah, the costs of them are about $15, and that's with our profit in there. Yeah, they could buy multiple ones. It all depends on how they would configure it and the use case itself. So some of them can be configured up to 700 feet based on the environment. Some are down as low as 10 feet. For instance, on an end cap, on a display, they could put it on an end cap, and it would only alert the users who are within that range.
Thanks. I think we will run out of time. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
We have our fifth presenter today, Fang Li from Swarmpix.
My name is Fang Li. I'm the founder of the Swarmpix. Basically, we are the smart digital signage solution provider and a researcher. Okay, so this is kind of like a brief picture of what are we doing. Basically, we provide software, but this, the pad and also the small computer, just like that, is kind of like our host environment. So we provide the software for this device, and then they can be installed on top of the digital signage. And the software basically provide the functionality is monitoring what happened in front of the screen. Like how many people watching the ads, what are their demographic information, male, female, and also age. And plus the some of the official features, like if you have glass or long hair or skin color. So this all going to be used for advertising targeting, and retail ads need to be trackable and interactive. So like online. Currently, all those ads, banner ads, they're really, can do everything. They track you using a track pixel or a cookie, but nothing for retail. Like you walk in the shopping mall, you're looking at ads, and then whoever broadcasts there, they have no idea what's going on. So basically, we're providing the solution to help this. There's three major features of our product. The first one is the mobile interaction. What does this do? For example, like this device hooked up with the 55-inch screen, and then they can provide, of course, the contents, broadcasting the ads, and also providing the QR code on top of it. So the mobile device can basically scan the QR code, and then they can, instantly providing like a pairing, like a like Bluetooth you can pair together. So we use QR code to pair. The common usage of the QR code right now is kind of like you're downloading the information from where you scan it. But we can do is we do interactive. The technology is after you scan it, we instantly injecting a small program, and this program, basically the user don't need to know, what it is, but that program, just to give you a capability to control back to the screen. We can provide lots of neat information. For example, like if this ad's, showing a game, so you can scan it, and instantly there's overlay on top of the screen, and you can use your mobile phone, can start acting like a controller, play a little bit, a demo, things like that. And of course, we support touch interaction also, and the hand gesture interaction. Like you use the hand to, do the paging, things like that. And the audience tracking, this is a pretty major feature we're providing. Of course, you have a geolocation, indoor, outdoor, like in the shopping mall, where exactly, the screen located. We will basically log that information. Whoever in front of it, you will have a geolocation reference for that. And the demographic traffic monitoring, we provide gender, age, and the facial feature. So again, as I said, that will be used for the targeting purpose. And then we provide, this is like a demographic geolocation-based targeting. So we have a platform which is provide the advertiser, they can log in, they can do the content management, and then they can through that interface to sending all those corresponding ads, of course, based on the demographic or geolocation targeting, distribute to the corresponding screen. And then, after we collecting the data, after the ads being broadcast, we collecting the data, and then come back, we actually have a, we call campaign quality index, as CQI. So what does these things serve two purposes? One is to evaluate, the advertiser's campaign, to tell how well your campaign been running, and then also when you create a campaign, you can use the CQI as a reference, like just like a brain list. I don't want to know where I need to put this ads into where. So I'm only, giving you, okay, under this category. For example, I'm selling like a family product. I need to know where exactly the best location I'm selling this. So I'm looking for the CQI, the higher number CQI. They'll help you to allocate the screen, where the screen is. And so this reflects how well the campaign is running and helps you create smarter campaigns. And this is just some milestones. So, and we're looking for like $500,000 of the, like helping us for the beta deployment in China, in Qingdao, at the end of the year. And we have 5 people, including me. And thank you.
For the audience tracking and algorithm, can you recognize the people's identity? For example, if the same people and coming in a different time, can you identify if it's the same people?
Yes, but we actually not doing that because the privacy concern. What we do is we provide, currently we provide like a 10 seconds advertising slot, like you can show you ads on the screen 10 seconds. Of course, you can do like a 20 second or 30 seconds. So within this 10 seconds, we start capturing the picture. And then we allocate how many, well, we're going to use the maximum head count, that particular picture for the further analyze. We send back to our server to do the facial recognition and all those demographic analyze. And then that will belong to that particular campaign, that in that time slot campaign. So that's kind of like a page view. You know, if you translate to the banner, you know, from the browser base, that's a page view. And then our interactive part is acting kind of like a click, you know, like all those, you know, click rate or click through points, you know, things like that. So idea is like we're kind of, you know, moving all those browser-based advertising functionalities, you know, into the retail world. Yeah.
And for your facial recognition, is your proprietary technology, or you use the open source, OpenCV, or
it's our proprietary technology.
Oh,
yes.
proprietary.
Yeah.
So what's your customer acquisition plan?
Yeah, well, our customer will be like an advertising company and also like a digital media company. And then also we're gonna, we actually work with the current digital screen company as well. So we provide OEM service for them. Yeah, and also we have a cloud. Well, the software itself, the backend software itself, providing the content management, tracking, and also the all those analytical functionality.
So what's the additional cost? Does it require any special hardware? It's all commodity.
It's really not like hardware is all OEM hardware. You know what are we using? Yeah, originally we want to design this, but we found this from Shenzhen. They already manufacturing perfect, you know, camera and also including audio. Also, you have a little Mac here. Yeah.
I think your product's cool. We have a company called AdSpace, which I think might be able to use some of your technology when, because they do ads in malls. I have a question in regards to, are you able to do any kind of response analytics? So if they...
Yes, yeah, the response, okay. We have a demo which is, you know, if you in front of our screen 15 seconds, and then you can start seeing the content the ads start serving corresponding to whatever the current, you know, that computer or the software think I should serve, you know, based on, of course, demographic. And see, here's like the whole, I mean, setup. Like your advertiser need to create such campaign. They say, like, I want to target female 35-year-old, and then this particular ads will be served when the scenario happen in from, you know, which locations screen. So when that screen, you know, start catching the scenario like this, they will actually, you know, pushing out the content to that. Yes, we do that.
What's your pricing for these large contracts?
Well, we currently, you know, we like at the end of the year, what we're doing is we set up a 30 screen in 2 shopping malls in Qingdao, China. And idea is we're setting up this network so you know, we can have advertising company engaged in, start bringing the contents, and then we can have, you know, the official data, you know, running through. So, yeah, not Fox Media. The in Qingdao is no, they're advertising, they're pure advertising company. Yeah, but Fox Media might be the, you know, we're probably gonna talk to them to see if they interest us. You know, but yeah, we like to set up this whole thing first, so you know people can have, you know, really like a worship, like a live things they can see and that they can believe it, you know. So
is your go-to-market strategy to more of an OEM approach to get this as a package to sell together with the display?
Currently, yeah, I think that's pretty much the major thing, because the deployment, you know, we like to host our own network, right? Who doesn't? But that will require lots of money, you know, to put your screen in. Network is not, I mean, not that much, but it's just like you need to talk to the location, you need to go through whatever those things that cost. But, you know, for example, if like in Shenzhen, they have a digital signage company already. And what do we talk to them? I said, okay, here's a new digital signage controller. You know, you no longer need to sell the old version anymore. So our new version basically can provide such functionality, can gain you, customer to monitoring, whatever things. So that will be our revenue, that will be our plan for the
Thanks. I think we're running out of time.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Let's welcome our last presenter today, Edmund from Zukami.
Right. You know what, the bad thing about your company name starting with the letter Z is you're always the last to present. Well, right, hello everyone. Yeah. Well, hello everyone. My name is Ed Zihu. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Zukami. Right, so here's the thing. A lot of companies now, they want to jump on a mobile bandwagon. They want to build mobile apps. And the thing about it is there's always this barrier about creating an Android app and also an iOS app. You have to build 2 versions. Now, what this really means is that you also have to hire talent that's good in both platforms. And then thanks to Microsoft, now you have Windows Mobile as well. So if you multiply that with the cost of developing the app and the amount of time it takes, it actually is quite a heavy investment. So we set out to build something that would actually make it easier for enterprises, small or big, to build mobile apps. And these are apps that work like a B2C, in a B2C environment, or apps that could be used internally. For example, it could be a customized CRM that your internal sales team needs to use. You have to go about building it traditionally. But here, Aurora is an enterprise app creator that helps you make it easier for enterprises to build such apps. Now, I would like to emphasize, now arguably some of you guys may want to use HTML5 because it's cross-platform. But the thing is, there are certain limitations of HTML5 that you can get around. With a native app, and of course, with HTML5, there are also you have to heavy investment as well. You have to spend time and effort as well to build up the app. So I would like to emphasize that our tool allows you to create native iOS and Android apps. There's also the sexy factor that a native app provides and a HTML5 can't, right? And there's no coding absolutely, so it is meant for people who are not good at programming or coding. Now, so when you build an app, because we're targeting enterprises and companies, it is inevitable that you will need a backend. So it works in a multi-user environment. So all your mobile devices need to think there has to be a central database that you have to where you store your data. And we power that on Amazon Web Services, so we actually offer you a cloud backend as well. Could I play a video? Okay, so this is a video of the actual designing screen. It's quite intuitive, it's novel. You can build a wireframe for the app and you can fill in content. It's as easy as what you see on the screen. You can put in maps, forms, workflows, and so on. And so it's very intuitive, and in fact, through this method, you can build any type of app. And the second video is coming up. And when you build a wireframe, you can, sorry. I think that's the same video. Could you play the second video, please? Yep. So this is how you can further customize. Like if you put in a form in a wireframe, you could actually move and shift and create your form. So it's as easy as doing that. Right. And the third video. And you can also customize how the app should look like. Is it horizontally oriented, or vertically oriented? You can change the color, put in backgrounds, and so on. It's really quite intuitive. You don't have to do any programming at all. And the last one is if you, like, for example, you have a map and you want to customize that, you can choose what kind of map you want. Is it a satellite map or hybrid? You can even, if you have annotations, you can even like decide how these annotations should look like. You can integrate to data sources, pull out information, and you can then populate it on a map, right? So this is a brief idea of how you can go about designing apps. It's really quite intuitive. So what's different about us is that we are meant for enterprises. We are built for enterprises. We have 150 plus enterprise features for dashboards, forms, signatures, workflows, annotation, security. All of that is built in, even OCR and stuff like that. You don't have to write any line of code to get all this functionality in your app. And we also understand that a lot of companies out there have existing infrastructures and you want to integrate with those systems. So we work with a lot of companies out there like SharePoint, and data that you traditionally have in the back end, you can pull it out and host it in the front end. And we have a plugin ecosystem that we are building as we go along, and we're supporting more and more systems as we go along as well. It's quite open as well. And most importantly, unlike the other types of competitors outside, we have a cloud-hosted backend. So you don't have to worry about where you want to put your data, what kind of database you want to put your data in. It's all handled for you automatically. And for those developers, there's an Open Developer API. If you have a backend system that you've created yourself and you want to extend it to the front end, you can use our Open Developer API to do those kind of stuff. So that works on web services. It's based on JSON, XML, and so on. It's really quite easy to do such things. All right. So a little about us. We're currently revenue generating. We've just currently received seed funding from Plug and Play. They're just right around the corner. And that's about $500,000. We've got that seed funding. And we've been having quite a lot of traction in Southeast Asia, in Singapore. We have our annual revenue is about $500,000 US, and we have customers like Nestle, we have customers like Canon, Sharp. These are big names, oil and gas, and banks as well. And a lot of them are using it for many different type of applications. All right, so we are seeking second round of funding, obviously. There's never such a thing as not enough money and stuff. And the team, William is my CEO. He's a 20 years enterprise software veteran. Myself, I'm the CTO. I'm also happen to be an author. I write books for Ready Press. And we have also 7 other coders, very talented people back in Singapore and the US as well. And yeah. And we are also in Las Vegas next week. We will be presenting at CTIA 2013. We have a booth there. If you happen to be there, let me know. I also have a free pass, and I don't know who to give it to. It's $300 in total. You can get me drunk enough, I'll give it to you for free. Right, and here's my URL. Feel free to go online and take a look at it. If you want to try it out, feel free to do so. We have an online trial as well. You feel free to mail me as well. Thank you.
Okay, which bar are you going to be in tonight?
Sorry?
Which bar are you going to be in tonight?
Well, up to you.
Yeah, I just want to ask, okay, so it's very interesting and very good presentation. And so, okay, what's the pricing strategy for this service?
Right. So we have a couple of strategies. So with this tool, you can build apps that don't have a backend. So that will be like $60 per month per app. So as long as you put it up in the App Store, that's going to be about $60 per month per app. We also have, if you happen to use the backend, then it would be $60 plus the usage. So we don't go by a traditional per user kind of model. You only pay for what you use. So it depends on how much data data space you take off our online server. It depends on how much network traffic you use. So we have a formula to come up with the pricing. Yeah. So it's a bit like the Amazon Elastic computing kind of price model.
Thanks, Edmund. I think I really like what you have built. It's really impressive.
Thank you.
But I'm just wondering, because we saw so many kind of enterprise app creators in the space, what do you see as a key differentiator that you want to highlight? Is unique about your platform? Is that the richness of the features or something?
Okay, so I think there are quite a number of different points. I think the first one I want to touch on is that we have a very novel way of designing the app. That we start off with a wireframe. I think a lot of other apps, they are more templatized in a way. You choose from a set of templates. Ours is novel. In fact, that thing you saw, it's actually patent pending. Secondly, we also have a cloud backend, whereas most app builders, they just build the front end, they forget and totally ignore the backend. And I think for enterprises, you can't do that. You have to have the backend. And thirdly, our pricing model is also quite different from the rest. We don't go by per user. You only pay for what you use. So it actually makes a lot of sense for most companies or even startups that don't want to spend too much money and time to build an app from scratch.
Generating revenue as well, right?
That's right.
Can you mention a little bit about the number of the current enterprise users and what are the most produced kind of category of the apps on the platform?
Okay. Category-wise, they are really quite different. Well, to give you a few examples, we have a bank, an Iranian bank in Malaysia. They're using this app as a sort of like for customers to open a bank account. So you walk right up to the counter. You have the iPad up there. They'll put in fill up the form, put a signature. There's no paper anymore. And when they submit it, it goes on a workflow. We have a back-end workflow that takes it to the bank manager and so on. So that's one typical example. We have an oil and gas customer, Sapura. That's actually the second largest oil and gas provider in the world. And they use it on those oil rigs where those engineers would go around inspecting machinery, and when something breaks down, they need to take a photo, fill up a form, submit it to the workflow. So these are some of the examples we have.
Do you see yourself in the space that you're also going into the consumer side as well? Because I see like the features you just demonstrated. I just feel like you can also create.
Actually, you can. Though we would like to keep our focus on enterprises, but it doesn't mean that if you're in a individual, you cannot build. You can. In fact, it does help you a lot because you don't have to worry about the backend and stuff. Additional note that I'd like to add is that we also have quite a big roadmap ahead. And I think one of the main attractive features we're working we're working on a BlackBerry and Windows Mobile version as well. So ultimately, you do your design, drag and drop, and it works everywhere. That's the idea. Right. Any other questions?
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. So please have all the presenters come back up to the stage, and we're going to get the judges to a separate room so we can tally up the score, and then the audience can ask questions to any of these presenters. And we'll be back around maybe 5 minutes after 6 to deliver the results. Okay, thank you.
So Blue Kangaroo, you have to arrange a lot of sellers to list your product on your
I'm
app.
sorry, can you speak up?
So your app, if somebody use your app, are you going to be having a lot of product to let user to browse through? In that case, in other words, you got to have a big sales force like GroupCon to get those product catalog, contact those vendors.
Salesforce bad, so no Salesforce.
How do you get the contents in?
Yeah, it's mostly API feeds from all the various players, whether it's the national brands or the daily deals or the local offerings, loyalty programs. It's almost all API, structured API feeds. We have some semi-structured where stuff's coming in from emails, people's marketing emails, and then flash sales, for instance, is unstructured, and that's painful. We're the only ones that aggregate it, but it's worthwhile because it's such a valuable targeting.
No, even it's an API, you got to contact the vendor to get the product listed on your app. Is that
no,
right?
they have their standard promotions that are feeding through. Getting the initial relationship,
yes,
that's another story, and that we've already done that with all of these players.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Because the Groupon has a lot of effort, a lot of investment to get the people out, to get the deal in.
Because it's customized deals. You're exactly right. With customized deals, it's painful.
Yourself. Okay, got you.
You're right.
Good.
My question is to Blue Kangaroo. How do you communicate with your device and user's device, maybe smartphone or iPhone? For Blue Kangaroo, you are?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, who has the, no, it wasn't. It was another one, Footprint. You don't have a device.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
How does your device communicate to the smartphone?
Yeah, it's a Bluetooth Low Energy.
So you ask all devices to put their Bluetooth on?
Yeah, it'd be a part of the terms of use of the mobile application. So our SDK would be integrated that, and then it would ask them to turn on their Bluetooth.
I think this is the main problem you need to work on, because I turn off Bluetooth because it takes a lot of my battery usage.
Yeah, Bluetooth actually doesn't drain the battery nearly as much as GPS does, and there are
still much.
Testing shows that it doesn't drain it that much. There may be a perception of that, but most people have their Bluetooth turned on. Most people do leave their Bluetooth turned on. Not everyone does.
Okay.
But a lot
so how many here have Bluetooth on? Well, but great idea.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's a
No,
great
no, no.
idea. You need just to work on this part.
Yeah, the statistics show that the majority of consumers leave their Bluetooth on throughout the day.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
I have a question to, I forget your name. Yeah. So is it possible then after like say using your platform like couple years, like pay you money and then export our application from your system and like host it ourselves in App Store or in Google App Store?
No, you can't. So when you create your app, basically we will do the publishing for you. So when you've done with your app, you click a button and that will send whatever files that you have to us, and you will have to submit your Apple developer account as well to us. So we will do the publishing for you. Now that actually makes sense in the long run because you also have to maintain your app. So you will be using our tool to maintain the app. So as long as it's up there, you will have to pay that monthly rate.
What about data? Like, can we export our data like after?
Oh, sure,
years?
of course.
Oh,
The backend belongs entirely to you. Whatever data you have, you can export it to Excel, PowerPoint, whatever formats you want.
All right, thank you.
I have a question for Blue Kangaroo. How do you determine the base of your particular statistics when the application is loaded? Like your objective is to analyze the behavior of the customer, and based on that you're going to give him the predictive analysis for his future buying, right? But what is the baseline you start with? Because as today, when I have your app downloaded, I don't have a history of my previous transactions with you.
Exactly. This is the benefit of collecting on average 17 events for the consumer on a weekly basis. What we do when you first start is you will see it most likely when you go to REI, and we'll see that you went looking for hiking boots, and we'll have offers there for REI for hiking boots, and then that goes into our database. And not only are we tracking that you are interested in REI and hiking boots, but the category is outdoor gear, and that you also might be interested in Timberland and Merrell, and you might be interested in Patagonia, and we start building the concentric circles of your interests for it. And over time, it becomes more and more powerful. From day one, you're exactly right. It's relatively weak, and then it grows quickly over time. And the key thing is the push notifications that the carriers are doing, so that that's happening. It will happen in a couple of weeks from day one when you activate the device. The push notifications will be there if you go to a commercial site for Sprint and AT&T.
So you meant to say that there would be a blackout period for initial a month, or that there would be some time frame which you have thought of, that after this period the device will function at its optimum utility?
So you need to, in order to activate the app, you have to activate the app first before we can collect the information. We're not allowed to collect the information based on privacy until you've opted in for it. But what we are going to do from day one with AT&T and Sprint devices is there will be the push notification saying that there are deals available if you choose to activate it, so that you'll see it in a toast notification that pops up. But you're exactly right that over time it becomes a lot more powerful. Is REI a shopping preference for you, or is it a buying intent that it's something that you were buying for your wife for Mother's Day? Okay, that's what we need to understand, because then it becomes very powerful for behavioral targeting for how you use that information.
Okay.
This is for the last one.
Right.
Yes. How do you deal with the? First off, there's hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of APIs.
Yep.
That add value, and they're constantly adding more. And as and so one of the things I didn't really see was what are you doing to support, say, post-marketing communications, the Marcom aspect of the app, which is whether you're an enterprise or you're doing internal marketing or external marketing, you still have to be communicating constantly with push notification and other mechanisms to the end user in order to create the value proposition of what the app is. And is that part of it? Do you have a platform for marketing people to manage the process as part of what you're offering?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. I think, to answer your first question about Marcoms, we take you down all the way to building your app and publishing it on the App Store, but we don't do the Marcoms part. So that one is, we'll still leave it to you. But in the app itself, we do have certain mechanisms that help you, gauge like how successful your app is, how many people are looking at certain parts of the app, the navigation, how they navigate the different pages in your app. You can actually, there's some mining going on in there, and you can actually get this data. So that helps you in a way. But we mostly don't do the Marcoms part. So when you mentioned about push notifications, we do have that as well. So for example, when you want to, let's say, create an update for the app, we will notify your users. For example, when you use the chat feature in our system, it actually sends out push notifications as well to an Android and iOS phones. So there are mechanisms that help you do that. But the main Marcom activity, no, we don't do that. Does that answer the question? Yep. No problems.
This is a question about the Aurora API. How complex of an app can you make? Aurora?
Sorry?
Hi. Over here.
Oh,
to the left.
sorry.
Oh, sorry, to your right.
Sorry. Hi.
How complex of an app can you make using Aurora?
Mhm.
Could you, for example, make an online store, maybe have it interface with Unity at all, something like that?
Yeah. So in fact, when you use Aurora, there's all the different content that you can actually put in the wireframes. So one of them are maps, forms, and for example, I'll talk about forms. Forms are very customizable. You can build business rules. You can do stuff like, if I do this, I want to hide this section. If I do that, I want to hide that section. You can go down to that kind of level. You support conditions like if, and so on. And all of that does not need you to do any programming. You can actually use wizards to create that kind of business logic. Now, if you talk about payment gateways, we do integrate with the gateways. So it's just like drag and drop. And we support like authorize.net, certain payment gateways, authorize.net, WorldPay, PayPal. And getting a shopping cart is just like dropping it in there. So we have a reference customer in New York that's actually using it like to order mattresses on an iPad. So it's pretty cool. You tell them your body weight, you tell it your sleeping preferences, it recommends a mattress. So you can build something like that. Yeah.
Thanks for all your questions. That'll be the last one, because our judge has came back with decisions. Yeah.
So, do we announce it? Yeah. So thanks for all the presenters and the audience today. We have a really tough time discussion, and I'd like to first invite Michael to announce the Best Presentation Award.
Okay. So, I didn't win it. So it was a very tough decision, and everybody did a very good presentation. But I think in the end, the one that really stood out to us was Chandra at Moodme. And here's your prize.
Small token. Okay, I'm in a good mood.
Then we will have Chris announce the Best Company Value Award.
This was equally difficult to work on because every company that pitched definitely had value to them. And we had quite a discussion as to which one should do it. But in the end of the day, it came down to the one that got further along and was talking in millions of dollars of revenue, and that would be Blue Kangaroo. Good job.
Thanks, Chris. Then last but not least, I'd like to announce here from more of a VC perspective, the Best Investment Potential Award today is given to Edmund from Zukami.
Thank you, everyone. I see like it's a long day, but a lot of people still stay until the end. And also, we have a lot of people discuss outside, very active, very hot discussion there. I would like to give all our judges, all our speakers today a really big applause. And they actually did a lot of good job today, and also to our startup companies. Let's give them one more applause so that, you know, just good job, everyone. Good job.